Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ravina Singh, and I am with the Ascend National Headquarters based out of New York City. Today's webinar topic is COVID-19's impact on job searching. We are so pleased to have you here. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe out there. I want to take a moment to introduce our first speaker, Tariq Khan. Many of you must know who he is. He is our national board member, as well as our national VP of Student Affairs. He will be part of the program today, and then he will transition to our main presenter, Kwan Segal. Tariq?
Thank you, Rabina. Appreciate it. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the world you're in. Before I get started, I want to give a special thanks to Ascend team who has been working diligently, especially to Rabina, Mike, Tiffany, and Shamia, who has worked hard to make sure this goes smoothly. I also want to thank our speaker, Kwan Segal, who has dedicated her time to be a part of this. And I'm truly excited to be listening to thoughts that she comes out with. My name is Tariq Khan, if you can have the next slide. Just a 30-second intro about myself. My name is Tariq Khan. I am the head of student affairs at Ascend, and I also serve the National Board of Ascend. My day job is I have a company which I started about 10 years ago. I'm a founder and CEO of Global Diversity Marketing. And before that, I spent about 18 years in financial services in senior leadership roles. I also serve different boards, and I have been teaching for the last 15 years at NYU Graduate School, Marketing and Leadership. Our speaker today, Kwan, she has a very impressive background, and I'm not going to go into details, but you should all definitely check all of us on LinkedIn, and you can connect with us. If you go to the next slide, thank you. So the welcome, which I have already done, and then I'll tell you a little bit about Ascend, and then some housekeeping items that this call would be recorded and all the rules of engagement. Then we'll go through the presentation, which Kwan will do for about 30 minutes. And then we will open for Q&A from the audience. So we will have about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have the closing remarks. Next slide, please. So housekeeping items, this webinar is being recorded. The copy of this will be available from Ascend. And make sure you plug in your devices. You don't run out of juice for your machine. Most of you try to live it to the last limit. I don't. Also, if you have any questions, there is a chat box available. And if you don't know where it is, most of you probably are. But if you click on your screen, you will see a little chat box, and you can click on that, and you can communicate and interact with the session. You all will be on a mute. And when we open for Q&A, we'll give you an opportunity to come in and talk. We will also have the audience polling question during the program. So I encourage all of you to participate in that polling. Upon the conclusion of this, this workshop webinar, you will see a link for a survey, and we request all of you to provide us with your feedback. And to contact Ascend, you can always contact us at webinar@ascendleadership.org. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about Ascend. Ascend is a nonprofit, the largest nonprofit Pan-Asian organization in the country, in North America. We started in 2005. We have reached over 60,000 students, professionals, business leaders, and corporate directors. We have 18 professional chapters and 40 plus student chapters in US and Canada. We are a truly life cycle organization, which means when you get out of college to the time when you want to play golf or any other activity full-time, it means till your retirement. We want to be there with you to ensure that you have a very rewarding career, professional growth, and Ascend is a part of that. This is uniquely organization to, we are uniquely positioned to enhance and advocate for the professional growth of any or all Asian Americans in this country. Next slide, please. Thank you. A little bit about this program. This program is designed. We have recently thought about this. I'm interacting with the students a lot, and our entire team has been talking to the students, and we realize that there's an opportunity, and there are some anxiety and discomfort, especially with what's going on with the impact of the COVID on the job market. So this is a way that Ascend wants to be complementing your efforts and want to be your partner. And this webinar is geared towards providing you with the job market and what's happening in the job market, which Kwan will talk in details about it, and how you at this time can position yourself, especially stand out during these challenging times. Next slide, please. So before I turn on to Kwan, just think about this. Life always gives you choices. At many times, what happens in life is not in your control. So none of us caused this COVID-19 virus, but how you react to it is very much in your control. And you always have choices in life. So the three things that I really focus on is there are two ways of looking at it. This is the most challenging times and everything is going to go bad and this is not a good time to be graduating. You can look at this as a challenge, or you can look at this as the greatest opportunity because now everyone is thinking that way and you can stand out with your positive attitude and your tenacity and you could really impress people. While there are so many challenges in the job market, there are new opportunities that are coming through that Kwan will talk about. Also, number two, you could really be depressed and say, I'm not going to sit home. I'm not going to, go out and sit home and just, spend my time in social media. And this is not a good time to connect with people and not work. Or you can look at this that everyone is pretty much home. People have more time and they're looking to talk to people. So this is probably the best time in the history to network with people, and you have social media available. And last is fear versus hope. So there are two ways of looking at it. You could have a very negative attitude and say the sky is falling, everyone is going to die, over 2.5 million people are infected with COVID. Or look at this, that 7.5 billion people are not infected with this. This is a great hope. Yes, we have lost some really dear ones, and especially I live in New York City, so we are the epicenter. But things are only going to get better. The best time is ahead of us. We will have the best celebration at the end of 2020, and everything will be fine. You just have to have a positive attitude. Remember, gratitude is an attitude, and you have to have that feeling. Now, the last thing that I request you, all of you, before I turn on to our speaker, is that every meeting, every webinar that I attend, I make sure that I learn something out of it. So please make sure that you have your notes and write 2 or 3 things that you learned out of this webinar today, and make sure you go and apply that. Now I would like to turn to our speaker, Kwan, who would walk you through her presentation.
Thank you so much, Tariq. That is a very inspiring and amazing introduction. Thank you for having me today. Ascend has always been my #1 in professional affiliation that I recommend all of my students to participate in. So it's such an honor to be here today. And I would like to personally thank you, the team behind the scene as well, who worked tirelessly to make sure that this event is a successful one. I would like to say thank you to Rabina Singh, the Ascend National Director, for this meaningful partnership that we have had for the past 4 years. And also thank you, Mike G, Ascend National Program Manager, for making sure that this is a very successful event. So a little bit about myself before we go to the poll. My name is Kwan Siegel. I am the CEO and founder of ICOA International Career Advisory. And what we provide is the customized career coaching programs for international students in the US. And for me, myself, I have been in the human capital consulting field for the past 15 years. And I have seen how employers want to acquire and retain talents. So I transfer those knowledge and experience to help international students build their competencies and build their networking skills and career branding skills in order to market themselves to the US employers. And good morning and good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're calling us from. Before I jump into the presentation, I would like to learn a little bit more about your background as well. So can you please let me know, Mike, can you please turn on that the first poll question? I would like to learn a little bit about your background. How many of you are international students? How many of you are domestic students? And I know that we have a few educators and professionals joining us as well. All right. Look at the number here, it's very interesting. So it looks like we have lots of professionals joining us. That's very interesting. So we're gonna leave this for a few minutes, a few seconds. Okay, so it looks like a majority of our attendees today are a professional, and next is 30 students are international students. So thank you for joining us today. So for our attendees who are students, I believe that employment is your number one reason, right? Why you attend your school, your college. So my heart really goes out to the class of 2020 because this is such a very, very unique and challenging time. You might be wondering, like, how can you secure employment after graduation? Because the unemployment rate goes up like more than we ever had in the past 45 years, and it's extremely challenging for anyone. So what I would like to mention here is today we're going to focus on career search, correct? But besides working very hard on your career search, I would like to make sure that you all also taking care of yourself as well. Have some time for yourself to gain your strength back. You may want to take a walk, an hour a day, enjoy some spring flowers. I love spring flowers. Give yourself some routine practice and help you call in an intention, okay? So that you can connect to your strengths from within. Because when your mind is clear, it's very easy for you to solve any problems that come in front of you. And at ICOA, on top of the comprehensive training programs that we coach our student members to help them find jobs in the US, we also launch a weekly call, where I provide my students, share that the trends, the key action items that they can do to secure employment during this challenging time. So I would like to combine those data that I discuss with my students and also share some of the tips with you that I shared with my students in the past 2 weeks. So let's get started. Let's start with the impacts and disruptions to the current job market. For sure, layoff, furlough, hiring freezes are ongoing, especially in the transportation, restaurant, hospitality, and some retail sectors. We all know that, correct? So let us just look into detail here, into specific industry, how their job openings look in March 2020, last month. This is the data from Yahoo Finance. You can see that all sectors except financial services. I know, like in New York, majority of employers are financial services, the main hub for financial services. But then all sectors except financial services saw declines for the entire month. And the biggest of the drop is with oil and energy industry, which was down by 14%. Okay. So I want you to keep that data because we're going to talk more about that later on. Now let's go into the location. So this is the data from Burning Glass Technologies about labor market analysis during this COVID-19. The top 4 metro areas with the largest drop in job posting are all in Louisiana. It's because Louisiana is dependent on tourism, right? And the oil industry that we just saw, that they have the sharpest drop. And the oil price is keep decreasing as well. So that's the reason why they don't have so many job openings at this time. So throughout the country, the job posting fell about 43% between the week of March the 2nd and the week of throughout the end of March. So I know that times are tough, right? And many of us here are very struggled to stay optimistic at this time. What I can do today is to walk through some data that will help you make informed decision. And when you search for job during this time, I will also share some tips that will help you secure those opportunities that are emerging during this crisis. And what we want to do is we will keep focusing on the glass half full, okay? And here's what I see. Even as unemployment claims skyrocket, there's still new hiring. And from this data from ADP National Employment Report, the latest one in March, did you see this? As of March 12th, the drop of employment is mainly from small businesses. Mid-sized, large employers in the industry who are not negatively impacted by COVID-19 are still hiring, and they have added more employment to their organization. So that is a good sign, right? There's still new hiring. What about the location? We just saw the sharpest drop of those locations in Louisiana. What about the metro areas that have the smallest drop in job posting? San Francisco Bay Area are the smallest decline in job posting at 16% only. And I believe that the region's industries have something to do with this data because tech firms are mainly headquartered in this area, in the Bay Area. And for example, what about something that is not in the Bay Area? Columbia, South Carolina also has the smallest change in job posting since the city is dominated by the public sector, healthcare, education, and retail. And these are the industries that have seen smaller declines. So from here, let us talk about jobs that are in high demand at this time and the industries that are hiring aggressively. Before I jump into that data, I would like to hear from you. Could you please use the chat box? I think it's like below your screen, and share with me what do you think are the most in demand American jobs at this time? Can you please use the chat box and share with us? All right, we have Jackie mentioned that is delivery services, healthcare. We have Michael, healthcare. Shen said delivery. Okay, all right, great. Tech, healthcare again. That's great. We have Amazon, communications, that's great. Okay, manufacturing, yep, for the products that we still need to have, right? They still need to keep producing. Cybersecurity, awesome. Remote tech, e-learning, that's correct. I saw some e-learning as well. E-commerce, streaming services, like streaming platform, right? Like what we have, Zoom. Excellent, right? So let us have a look what we have found through the research. This is the secondary research here. Thank you for sharing with me. This is great. This is a great conversation. Most of you are so right. You know, as we all know, during this pandemic, job listing in healthcare, right, have been surging. And for the students, I'm not sure how many students here that pursuing a degree related to healthcare, you can target these employers in big metro areas like New York, San Francisco, and Boston, okay? Because there is high demand of healthcare professionals in those areas. On top of that, labor experts also see that healthcare actually is one of the fields that's always hiring. You know, no matter what, no matter how the rest of the economy is faring, healthcare is always in high demand. So that is a good insight. And you are also right as well. Big tech companies are still hiring aggressively as well. And my students, ICOA students, have been receiving interview opportunities from Amazon, Facebook on different roles, not just tech roles. Some of them are business analysts, risk analysts, and data analysts. And according to Business Insider, here's what Apple, Google, and Amazon, and also Facebook are looking for. You can see that there are lots of tech jobs out there, right? That they are looking for, like engineers, data scientists, software designers, and cybersecurity experts. Those are the jobs that they are hiring aggressively at this time. My message to you is, if you have skills and experience related to this demand, it is time to enhance your career brand. I always focus on career brand and race 100 miles an hour toward these goals, toward these opportunities. Okay. And also, please keep in mind that there are job openings, yes, but there will be more candidates in the market as well that you need to compete with. So you will be competing with top talents who have experience working in the tech startups that have furloughed or laid off their employees during this COVID-19. And if you feel that you don't have much experience as some of the top talents out there, here's what you can do. So let me sip some water a little bit. This is the article that I really like from Spark Hires website. Spark Hires is the video interview for the employers. They said that skill set isn't everything in the hiring game. It is great for for employers to have like a new employee on board on the first day and know everything and be able to do a perfect job on the day one, right? On day one. But it is also equally important for the candidates or for the new employee to be able to get along with the team very well. This means that if you can show to your employers that, or to your interviewers that you are the right culture fit for a company and have a strong passion for the job, even if you feel that you don't have as much experience as those top talents that I just mentioned before, you can still be in the game, okay? Because employers know that skills mean nothing if an employee doesn't have a passion for that job and the company and doesn't believe in the vision and mission of the company. So next time when you get an interview opportunity, besides just showing like your skills and experience, please make sure that you present your strong passion for the job and the company as well. So many of you may be asking yourself, wow, whether all the jobs in tech and healthcare are now available, what about other industries? Other industries are also hiring as well. And here's the technique that I normally use when I want to investigate which industry is still hiring and which one is not. So here's the result from the job openings by industry when I use LinkedIn to look for job. This is the data from yesterday. When I filtered by financial services industry, there were more than, 136,000 jobs out there posted in the past week, just in past week, ranging from business analysis to like HR related role to learning and development. And then let's compare it to a different industry. Like when I filtered by oil and energy industry, there were only 10,000 jobs posted in past week throughout the country. So this is the data throughout the country. This data is pretty similar to what we just saw from the Yahoo Finance data, right, that I presented earlier, but this is more real time. So you can do this as well to investigate if the industry that you want to get in are still hiring. So let's try to focus on the industry that have more than 100,000 jobs in the past week. That's my recommendation. My question to you is, then how can you stand out in a very competitive job market like this, right? My recommendation is, instead of blindly applying for jobs online, I would like you to look at the job market right here, right now, and respond to its needs, okay? If you can develop a new resume, do that. Stay relevant, right? Boost your LinkedIn profile. That is something that you have to do today if you can. Learn about the market demand, align your skills and past experience with the industries and functions that are still in high demand. Okay? And during this pandemic, please keep this in mind. Only essential businesses who are still performing well, essential businesses, right? They always talk about this. Who are still performing well and these essential businesses will be able to add more headcounts to the company. So you can focus on those businesses. And what about the positions? So from a talent acquisition perspective, if a company is hiring, they will focus on hiring a core function of the business. What does a core function really mean? It's the function that will help the business operate, beat their competitors, right? And stay compliant. So all the roles that ensure a company's profit, focus on those roles, okay? Please target those roles when you're applying for jobs during this pandemic. Essential businesses and core functions. From here, I hope you get some insights to help you identify industries and jobs that you can target during this pandemic. Next, I would like to hear from you again. Could you please launch the next poll question? What do you think is the most effective approach for competing with other candidates in the job market? Please share with me. All right, the number is rising up. Okay, wow, amazing. It looks like Ascend. Our attendees today love networking. That's amazing. All right, so we're gonna wait for a few seconds here and see what's gonna be a final result. Okay, so most of our attendees say that connecting with people inside the company, excellent, excellent. And I know that majority of our attendees today are professionals, so you know what it's like, right? You know that when you work in a company, you're the one who knows all the things that happening. If the company is hiring, what kind of job they are looking for. So that's the right approach. And I know that we have a few students that answer one, applying as many jobs as possible. We're going to talk about that as well. What about tailoring, covering cover letters? Cover letters are great, you know, but it's not everything. All right. Sometimes when recruiters are so overwhelmed with lots of applications, sometimes they even skip the cover letter. That's the fact. So let's have a look what's next. I would like to share with you some do's and don'ts that you can do this time during your job search. Let's start with don'ts, okay? The don'ts list. First of all, I just mentioned, right? Don't apply for too many positions at one company. You don't want to end up on the recruiter blacklist. Have you heard about recruiter blacklist before? Because when you come up like losing your focus and just apply for so many jobs, recruiters feel that you may not be the right candidate for the company because you don't even know what kind of job you want to apply for. You may think that you are increasing your chances of landing a job, but too many resume submissions actually make you look unfocused in the eyes of recruiters. And it is hard for recruiters, right? I've been talking to lots of recruiters out there. They say that it's hard for them to figure out like what type of job you are really pursuing, and their job is not to help you choose the right job for you. It is your own responsibility to let them know who you are and what you can do for them, to the company. All right, so next time, if you think like you need to apply to as many jobs as possible, it's the wrong strategy. Don't do a numbers game, do a people game. Next is, during this pandemic, please be careful. Don't fall for scams and fraud, because some people will try to take advantage of job seekers. That's pretty unfortunate. So if any company that come to you, like a recruiter come to you and with a deal that is too good to be true, or maybe they are asking for your personal information, please make sure that you do some due diligence, okay? Review the company's website for anything suspicious. You can also Google, use this kind of keyword, fraud, scam, reviews, complaints, and put the company's name next to it to see what comes up. Or you can check out this website, ripoffreport.com. This is a great information that I got from UC Riverside Career Center. So thank you, the Career Center, for sharing this information with me. Let's continue with the do's list, okay? The strategy that we should start doing today, all right? So keep your skills sharp during this pandemic, okay? So if you're not really in rush of landing a job right now, make sure that you keep your skills sharp and take this advantage, because there are lots of organizations out there that now offering online courses during this pandemic for free. Have you read, like, for example, I'm not sure if you read the job description lately. If you have, there are so many organizations and roles that require project management as one of the top lists of the competencies that they look for in a candidate. And like right now, PMI, Project Management Institute, is offering free project management courses. So please check it out. Next, according to this job site, monster.com, one of the data skills that you need to have in order to be able to stay on top of the pile, all right, and be an attractive candidate is data visualization. And I hope that you heard about Tableau before. I'm sure that you know about it. And Tableau is now giving us 90 days of free learning. So I would like you to take advantage of that as well. Check it out, and also lots of great courses on LinkedIn as well. You can learn so many soft skills on LinkedIn Learning as well. Check it out. Next do's is to please be ready for any interview, video interviews, okay? I would like you to be very familiar with the video conferencing software platforms. Employers are using different types of software for video conferencing. So make sure that you download those apps even before you get the interview opportunity and test it with your friends or your colleagues. And I'm not sure if you ever checked your internet speed before, because there are so many times that when I coach the student online, their screen got frozen or we got cut off because the internet speed is not working. So make sure that your internet speed is fast enough. And here's the technique that you can test your internet speed. Just Google it, okay? And this thing will pop up on your screen. So click run speed test right there. And then I would like you to have at least 2 Mbps, all right, when doing a call, because you don't want to get cut, right, or be frozen during your interview calls. Also set a professional background and setting like you are a YouTuber. Set up the right camera, the microphone, whenever you need to be on a call with anyone. Again, please test everything in advance before you even get the video interview. The third one is, I want you to be proactively reach out to employers and ask for the video calls. Don't wait for them to set up those calls with you. It's true that right now, 60% of employers out there may not making new hires right now, but many of them are just temporarily waiting to see what's going to happen next, right? So by setting a video call with them, you will have high chances to be in that pool of qualified candidates. And when this pandemic is over, they will have you on the top of the list, right? So please be proactive in reaching out to those employers, even though they are not hiring. I also wanted to share some HR facts that a job posted online doesn't mean that there's an actual vacancy in the company. Sometimes the companies post jobs online in order to show commitment to fair hiring practices and to widen their talent pipeline. But actually, they are just hiring internally. That happens sometimes, okay? And sometimes the companies who are actually hiring might not even post the jobs online. So you can't rely on those online job applications anymore. This is the time for you to network more than ever. Use virtual networking tools, especially LinkedIn, to connect with people and ask for a phone call or video conference, just like I mentioned. And your message during this time needs to be cordial and concise. And this is an example of the techniques to connect with people on LinkedIn. You can start with a goodwill message like, hope you are staying safe during this pandemic or during this unique time, and then give a short description of your impression about that person. When you connect with someone on LinkedIn, they can just click your profile and check your background, right? So you don't have to come up with such a long description about yourself. Just tell them why you are interested to connect with them, why you admire them, all right? Focus about them, who you want to connect with. And then end with asking for a phone call, okay? Don't just exchanging back and forth of the message. It's time wasting. You can ask something like at the end, are you available for a phone call? I'm sure you're busy, so even 20 minutes would be greatly appreciated. This is the art of asking. One quick note from me, due to the school closures and work from home, many professionals like all of us here need to wear multiple hats, and not traveling doesn't mean that we have extra time, right? So please be respectful of their time. the international students and domestic students who are listening to us right now. Show that you respect their time, right? It's not just about saying thank you for your time today. It's not just like that. Before a call, please do a homework. Prepare to ask good questions and show your enthusiasm and take good notes. Then follow up with some meaningful messages. Always follow up, okay? And this is my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes from Roy Bennett, the author of Light in the Heart. So good for this time that we are in right now. During this pandemic, instead of worrying about what you cannot control, please shift your energy to what you can create. I hope you agree with me with this quote, okay? And one simple thing that you can start creating today is a new professional connection. Please join a community that helps you move forward, like for example with Ascend, where you can build your professional skills and also connect with the professionals that you would like to be like in the future. And at COA as well, we also have a Facebook closed group for international student community. So please make sure that you check it out. You can go to your Facebook and just type in ICOA Dream Team. We pop up, please request to join the group. Also, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn guidebook to share with you to help you kickstart your virtual networking skills. So we are at the end of our presentation right now, Tariq.
Thank you, Kwan, and that was really great presentation. And what I learned from your presentation was the emphasis that you had on being unique. I personally promise you that before the end of this session, I'll give you one tip for the international students, how to be unique, for the domestic students, how to be unique, and for the professionals who are currently working or may not be working and looking for a job, how to be unique. But before we take Q&A, if you can go to the next slide, there were two questions that we already got, and we want to address them. Kwan, I could ask you to handle the first question and I could take on the second question. The first question is, how does this pandemic make it harder for us to do the job search?
Definitely. As you can see from my presentation, we talk about the supply and the demand, right? Right now, the decline of job posting, especially in March, it was like half off. 43% of employers now posted new jobs nationally. And at the same time, more talents available in the market. So the supply demand issue right now is not really balancing. More competitors, fewer jobs available in the market. And one thing is traditional job search process, like it's not going to work so well anymore. It's going to be even more challenging. Like for example, recruiters who got 100 applications a day, during this time, they may get like 500 applications a day. So what I would like to suggest is like, you know, some of our talents here who work in the industry that got disrupted and maybe got laid off during this pandemic. For example, some of our students are from the airline. They need to adapt the skills very quickly and build a new profile and look for a new industry. So there are lots of challenging situations for all of us here.
Great, thank you, Kwan. And I'll take the second question is there something that we can do to stand out? Yeah, of course. So think about it. Today, when people want to find you or connect with you, one of the first professional sites that they go on is LinkedIn. How does your LinkedIn profile look like? If it's not professional and attractive, then you got to immediately go and update your LinkedIn. Whether you're a student or a professional, there should be something unique about your LinkedIn profile. I mean, how about if you're a marketing professional, you could put down that a perfect professional during pandemic or after pandemic, right? So this would really attract people to know that, you know, how is this person engaged? When they want to see your dashboard and activities, please post as many articles as you can. If you're an international student, keep in mind that this may be a challenging times for you, but this is an opportunity, because whenever you contact an employer, tell them that you have a country experience. And that could be really an area of interest for many employers. I know a lot of companies are not doing sponsorships, but you have the OPT, which gives you almost a year to work with. And this is a really aggressive time, and that may open opportunities for them to have something for you in your own home country. If you're a domestic student, yes, this is a challenging times, but at the same time, I can tell you this from the first-hand information that companies who are laying off, they are still hiring college graduates because those are the very inexpensive acquisition or new talent for the company. So they are laying off people who are more senior and more expensive to keep. So this is just a mindset. Continue to apply as you were applying before. Have as many contacts as you can. And if you're a professional who's looking for a job opportunity, or if you're currently working, make sure that you reach out to your supervisor and people in your company that you're always available. That doesn't mean that you work all night and all day, but always exceed their expectation. When they ask you to do a project, exceed their expectation. Right now is the best time to stand out because the corporate politics face-to-face is not happening, and how you submit your assignment is really important. So think about from that perspective that what can I do that gives me a competitive advantage in front of everyone else. So let's look at the box, and you can go in the chat box and you can put down if you have any questions. Mike, is the chat box open? Okay, so first question that I got from Jason Young. The question is, thank you, Jason Young, for joining us. I usually connect with job applicants at career fairs and get LinkedIn follow-up afterwards. How do you recommend candidates to find people on LinkedIn who would be willing to engage? And I'll keep my replies short, and Kwan will do the same.
Yes.
My recommendation is that connect with as many people as you can. And once you connect with them, always ask them to have a 10-minute conversation with you because you're very intrigued about their background and you want to connect with them. For example, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I have over 8,500 contacts. So find out in my contacts who's the person of interest for you and request me to connect you with that person. And that at least I can do, or many of us can do. Kwan, you have any input for Jason?
That's a great point, Tariq. I would love to add a little bit more. Like when I coach students, I always encourage them to put into two buckets here. First is the recruiters, right? You can also email recruiters as well. After you apply for jobs, you let them know that you are interested in this position, and just make sure that they see your face and be able to see your resume. That is one part. Another part is people that you want to be like in the future. For example, people who work in the role that you are interested in, just like how I mentioned a little bit how to connect with people through LinkedIn. You can definitely use email, and LinkedIn allow you to upgrade your account for I believe like maybe for a month, and you can use email to reach out to those connections and let them know that you admire them in what areas and ask for the phone calls. So those are the things that you can start doing by being very focused on those professionals who want to connect with for informational interviews, and also reach out to the recruiters directly as well. Don't just apply online.
Thank you, Kwan. And we have one more question from Vivian Zhang. And Vivian is saying that I've been interviewing prior to the quarantine, and I was the top candidate, and now I've been told that to just wait during that process. How do I keep in touch with them during the same time? You don't want to be over contacting a person, but always find some article that is more relevant to the business or the job that you applied to, and it may be of an interesting read. Send it out to the person, maybe once a week is a good contact. Don't overdo that. And staying on a positive, favorable way is always a good thing, because they see that you're very energetic, and always have a positive attitude. Don't look desperate. Just be patient, but at the same time, show that you're really interested in that opportunity. Kwan, do you want to add something to that?
That's really good point. Right, don't over, bombarding them with the emails, but be very cordial and let them know that, you are interested to connect in the future. Maybe once a month, you can ask for a quick phone call just to catch up, right? This is like when you get to the interviews, especially in the final round, you have already built some rapport with the interviewers. It's great to connect them as your future mentors, but you don't have to tell them, can you become my mentor? But gradually build out that meaningful connection with the person. Yes, use this as a applied networking strategy to this opportunity. It does not need to turn into a job right away.
Yes, thank you. And I encourage all of you to go to your chat box and ask questions. And one thing I wanted to add, Kwan, that if you're a student or a professional, I always recommend you to join Ascend. As Vipin asked a question, who's one of my students in my class, and I encouraged him to get involved. We have a student chapter and we have a professional chapter. If you're a student, you can connect with us. We may have a probably student chapter on your campus, but even if we don't have it, we can find a way to do that, or get involved in a professional chapter. Ascend has professional chapters 18 throughout the country, and we provide you that opportunity. So I think there are more questions coming in. Michael, what are your thoughts on headhunters and people who cold connect with you with jobs to companies that they don't want to work for? I'm always be careful of the cold calling. When someone is trying to reach you desperately and trying to sell you a job instead of attracting you, just do your research. Always entertain people and use your best judgment. Common sense is usually a good way to look at it. But when people are trying to, like Kwan was saying earlier, that be careful of these, illegal opportunities that people are asking for your credit card, and somebody's trying to sell you a job, then it may not be the right job for you. Kwan, you have some experience with that?
That is so true, Tariq. Watch out for scams and fraud out there. At the same time, sorry, I got some allergy. At the same time, please, also do some due diligence. Like sometimes those headhunters, they can come up with good job as well. So feel free to speak with them, but don't give out any personal information. I always encourage students that may not have so much experience of job interviews, just go on a phone call so that you can practice without the need of that job. It's going to make you feel even more comfortable, but you don't have to engage with them or provide any personal information. But jumping on a phone call doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and guys, we have another 5-6 minutes for the questions, so please keep coming in. There's a question from Roland Shan, and Roland is asking that how do we connect to an alum who works for a company, alum, sorry, my mistake. How do we connect to an alum who works for a company that has a job that you want to apply for? I think, people, no matter how high level they become, the more senior they become, the more self-actualization need do they have. So always reach out to a person, say, I was reading your background and I understood you went to, Yale, and I wanted to do a 5-minute interview. I'm writing an article on people who went to this school. Don't make something up if it's not there, but you can always write a small blog on something. And when you talk to people about their accomplishment and their achievements, they are more open to talk to you. Kwan, you may want to add something.
That's so great, Tariq. And I completely agree with you. Alumni is the best source for you to build meaningful connection because you have something in common. It's so great to first break the ice. And then just the real story, like one of my students last week, she reached out to one of the alumni and he works at Deloitte, and he's willing to refer her. But before you get to that point, you need to be able to engage that person with a meaningful connections, not just directly ask for the job referral right away. So that's my addition.
And Kwan, we have 4 more minutes. So I have a question for you, Kwan. So let's say I'm a brand new. Do you have some experience on how do I go about and find recruiters or job opportunities on LinkedIn? Is there a process that you usually use for young professionals or students?
Yes,
on
of
LinkedIn?
course. That's a great question, Tariq. And for brand new graduates, right? For example, if you don't have any past experience before, it's great to connect with the professionals just to learn about their work. So my recommendation is, first of all, you need to also first define which kind of job you want to pursue by looking at the skills that you have gained through your education. And maybe in your coursework, past experience, you may have some experience working for some, schools clients in particular industry. Those are the things that you can highlight in your profile. And once you know which kind of job you want to target, which kind of employers or industry you want to target, then build a networking game plan and reach out to those alumni, or we just mentioned about alumni, or even professionals who that you don't even have any mutual connection. You can also reach out to them as well by referring to something that you really admire. For example, if the professional has written some articles or white paper for their company, you can refer to that white paper and ask to connect with them because you have maybe a few more questions about it. Professionals love to help out young, talented, enthusiastic candidate who just want to grow and have a growth mindset. What do you think, Tariq?
No, I totally agree with you, because when the business is slow, you paint the store, right? So get yourself engaged, keep yourself involved, and nonprofit is a great way, because when you have your resume, this time would be over. Next year at the same time, probably we'll be in a very different shape than we are today. So people don't care what you have done on your resume. People care what you have accomplished. So imagine if you can put down in your resume, while there was pandemic going on, I was working with Ascend or any other nonprofit organization, helping people or helping students or helping professionals. So it is very important for you to, when you're writing your own story, that there is some compassion shown in there, that how you have used your time. And you can work for multiple organization, nonprofit organization, but be busy. I mean, you can be watching a video on how to wash your hands 10 times and making different memes, or you could really be writing a little article about that, how you're making out in these challenging times. Many of you are students who were thrown out of your dorms. So write a a story on that, how did you come out? Show your resilience. People want to see that. And everyone is good during good times, but people want to know how you are during your challenging and bad times. And I always encourage that, show your participation. We have, over 200 people, and only 4 or 5 of you have asked questions. So obviously those asked questions, whether it's Roland or Michael, they stood out. They want to stand out. Make sure that you connect with us on LinkedIn. Kwan gave that offer. I'm going to give you that offer to make sure that you connect with us on LinkedIn. Stay engaged. It's very, very important. Now we're coming to the last 5 minutes. I'll probably take one more question. And if you don't have it, Kwan, I have a question for you. So how do you keep yourself engaged? And this is a very different routine setup that we have. None of us in our lifetime has seen something like what we are going through. And the challenging thing about this is we don't know when the end is. So how do you keep yourself positive during this challenging time?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. Last week, I just actually just a few days ago, I tried to encourage one of the students as well to keep staying positive, right? So first of all, as I mentioned earlier, I would like you to take a break and make sure that you take some time for yourself. Focus on, instead of just focus on career search, try to spend a little bit time to restore your energy. That's first of all, take care of yourself. And then how to stay positive. Keep engaged with the community that give you positive energy information. For example, with Ascend, you have lots of webinars going on that provide good information and show some success stories of the professionals out there, that success is not like a straight line. We need to stay resilient. So those are the things that can help you keep moving. Stay with the community that help you keep moving. Like, for example, with ICOA at this time, we also organize that weekly calls for the student. And when the student can hear the stories of people who are struggling the same thing that they are struggling, but also the solution that they have found, and be able to, for example, connect with the professional and get referrals at the end, it helps them keep motivated and see the light in the end of the tunnel. So that's my suggestion. Take some time for yourself, take a break. Don't feel that you have to work like 70 hours a week like that and become successful. No, take some time for yourself. At the end, focus on the possibilities. Okay, focus on good news, engage with the community that help you grow.
Thank you, Kwan. And we did get two points from one from Vivian Zhang that she wants to recommend that everyone continue learning. She's trying to get into the real estate industry, and that's a great opportunity. And Vivian, if you connect with link, I can connect you with some people that own in real estate who are great accomplishers in this industry. William Kwan also came out and he highly recommended Toastmaster International as an organization to boost your public speaking. Those are all good recommendation. I would strongly recommend, and Mia Newell also saying thanks, so Claudia, thank you everyone. So my closing remarks as we are on the home stretch in last 2 minutes, I would say connect with Ascend. You can go to our website, ascendleadership.org. And if you go, you could see the events that we are doing. You can become a member of Ascend organization. You can contribute to our foundation if you would like to. And also you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I have given you my LinkedIn information. Can you go to the next slide, or is this the last slide? Yeah. Also, you can connect with us on social handles that we have. I requested all of you, as we're in the last 2 minutes, I requested all of you that every meeting or every webinar that I attend, I take my points that what should I do next? So I've taken 3 points. Number 1 is stay positive. Positive mindset is critical, because if you become negative at this time, you may need a very long time to come out of it, right? Number 2, stay active. How do you stay active? I exercise regularly. Right now, I'm not traveling, so I have 2 hours extra every day. I live in New York City. That's why I spend 2 hours traveling. So exercise, get involved, get in some kind of a physical activity that keep you busy. That's very good for your mindset, positive. Enjoy doing things that makes you happy, like cooking or anything that you get, but be professionally engaged. Networking goals. So I always recommend people to have measurable goals with benchmarking that you can measure. I would give you a last tip: 25, 10, and 5. Remember this number: 25, 10, and 5. What do I mean by that? Every week, make a goal that you're going to reach 25 people on LinkedIn that you don't know, who could probably be beneficial to you in your professional career. If you reach out to 25 people, your goal is to connect with them on a phone, at least 10 of those. So every week you want to connect with 10 people. And 5 means that 5 out of 10 people, you want to have a follow-up phone call with them, so you can connect with them and you can stay connected on a favorable basis with them. So this is 1 o'clock. I want to thank all of you for being a part of this workshop, and we truly value your feedback. So make sure, when you get the survey, it'll take a few minutes, just fill the survey out and stay connected with us. Ascend wants to be a part of your life, professional life cycle. And if we can help you anyway, please stay connected with us. Once again, I want to thank Kwan for her time, and I want to thank all of you for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.